What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade. And my friends, we have quite the next 4 days ahead of us. We know that we have Ubisoft Forward tomorrow. They're going to be announcing a lot of different stuff in the Division universe. And we also have Season 10, which starts next Tuesday, September 13th. Now, the game just put out some information this morning in regard to some great changes they're going to be making, and I wanted to share them with you as we roll into the weekend. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. Make sure you turn on those notifications. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And remember, we are currently having a giveaway for PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on October 2nd of this year. One thing I want to make sure I mention as we start this thing off is that tomorrow, Saturday, September 10th, I will be live streaming the Ubisoft Forward event here at the channel starting at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. And the reason I bring that up is because this morning I posted a video about the Ubisoft event, the fact that I'm a Ubisoft partner, I'm going to have giveaways, and I went over how those giveaways are going to work in this morning's video. So I will leave a link to that in the description down below. And I will also leave a link to the live stream itself. Again, we go live tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. And I hope to see all of you there, my friends. So as I mentioned earlier, the game has tweeted out a lot of information. Now obviously they're doing a full media push because all three aspects of the Division universe are going to be featured in tomorrow's Ubisoft Forward event. Now we don't know really to the extent of what they're going to show us, but I think it's more than safe to say, and I can say this as someone who's been here since day one, this is the most media we've gotten from the game in years. Like, we're talking since Warlords, things like that. You know, I've talked about the fact that they finally have a full team, and one of the things they've started doing is really having an open communication line between the game and the community itself. Now, what you're looking at here is a page that they've created in order for us to report different bugs we're dealing with, issues, stuff like that. Now, you can see based on the different tabs, there are certain things they're investigating, certain things that they're working on, and certain things they've already fixed. So we're going to jump into what we can see for TU16, and starting here. And I know this happens to be something people have wanted to see implemented into the game for a while, and it has to do with the exotic drop increase when it comes to just regular NPCs. And you can see they say, the chance of an exotic dropping from any NPC in the open world will increase with higher difficulties. The quality of the exotic received will also vary depending on the player's level and world tier. They then give us a breakdown of the type of numbers we can expect to see. And look, I know these numbers seem small, but keep in mind it's much higher than it was before. I don't even know if it was. I mean, here's the thing. I know that you could get exotics from any NPC in the open world, but I think the numbers were so minuscule, so this is definitely an improvement from what we had before. And as we look at this chart, you can see there's a sliding scale for different levels in the summit. This is going to change farming a lot for a lot of people, which is great. And actually, if we look at this, the one major change you can see is that players in the dark zone will now have the highest chance of seeing an exotic drop from a random NPC. I mean, it's not even really close when you look at all the percentages, and in my opinion, and remember, this is coming from someone who really never sets foot in the dark zone at all. I am so happy they're making these changes because the PvP community has really been on the back burner for a while, so the fact that they're doing this is a really good thing. Now at this point, I don't know if they're also going to increase the drop rate for bosses at the end of the mission or, you know, control points, things like that, but as always, as soon as I have that information, I will definitely pass it along. We're now going to be looking at some of the changes the game is going to make in the future, and it has to do with our feedback from the PTS. And one thing I want to make sure I mention as we move on is that I know only a small portion of the community could actually run in the PTS because it was only on PC, and just because they made these changes now does not mean they're not going to listen to the rest of the community once this thing goes live. However, having said that, the two adjustments I'm going to be highlighting in this video were pretty, I mean, everyone in the community, regardless if you played on the PTS or not, you saw the change they made to these two pieces of gear from phase 1 to phase 2. And there was really a community-wide reaction saying, you know what, everything looked better in phase 1. Why'd you make these changes? And as you can see, they're actually reverting it back, which again is a really good thing. Now, the changes I'm talking about has to do with the Picaro's holster. Well, we're going to go over the Picaro's holster and the Striker gear set. So starting with the holster, they say following the PTS Phase 2 feedback, we remove the 20% weapon damage perfect core attribute and the 2 random attributes roll. Instead, the Picaro's holster will now have a blue core attribute can be changed to red or yellow, a perfect attribute of 15% weapon damage, and 1 random one. Now, there happen to be a few reasons why I think this is such a great change. First of all, it's going to allow you more build diversity. So the fact that you can change your core attribute means that you can put a build together any way you want to around this holster. Now, that also means you're going to have to farm for different variations, which in turn, at least for me, gives me that incentive to want to log into the game, keep farming, and look for that perfect piece of gear for a build I'm trying to put together. Now, the next thing I want to go over has to do with the Striker's gear set. And once again, a lot of people chimed in when the game announced they were making that change because it was like a buff, but it wasn't, because you were getting more stacks, but you were losing them at a faster rate. So again, it really made you have to use the gear set in a certain way. But you can see, based on the feedback that they received from the community, they've decided not to move ahead with the changes that they had planned. Instead, they're making the ones you can see on screen, and this will continue to make this gear set a viable option. Now, another thing that the PvP community has been asking for a very, very, very long time is a fix to the Shrapnel Trap. Now, they're doing a temporary fix, and as you can see, they say as a temporary solution, we have decided to significantly reduce the Shrapnel Trap efficiency in PvP in order to dissuade players from using it. And again, it's not a permanent solution, but at least for those of you that do play PvP, it's a step in the right direction. You know, it does say it's planned for TU16. I don't know what that means for next Tuesday, but as always, as soon as I have that info, I'll pass it along. Finally, today, my friends, we're going to talk about PC crashing and the fact that they are introducing 10 fixes with Season 10. And I know for a lot of you out there, this has been a major issue for your gameplay for a very long time, and I get all different sorts of messages at the channel. Some people say it's been a problem from day one, some people say it's no issue at all, and other people say they're just used to a certain pattern, and that pattern is once there's another title update, things crash for a week, and then they fix certain things and it's back to normal. So as always, if you have any info to pass along, please let me know, and I will try to help out in any way I can. With all that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this thing up. I am very excited about the UBISOFT Forward event tomorrow. I hope to see you all here. You have made this possible. I sincerely appreciate all of your support, and if there's any questions or comments, leave them in the section down below and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
You have received an invite to another agent's group. You are now in a group.